Once we've chopped our cabbage and added our carrots, we're going to add a few other ingredients. We got garlic olive oil. We're going to do about a tablespoon of that. We're going to about a quarter teaspoon of chili powder. We're going to add some garlic salt. We're going to add about a quarter teaspoon of dill. Add a little bit of celery seed. We're going to add some black pepper. We're going to add about a tablespoon of rice vinegar. And then to top it off, we're going to add in a tablespoon or two of mayonnaise. And then we're going to mix it up with 2 forks. Nice simple recipe for cabbage slaw. It's going to be really good on our tacos. We're going to put this back in the fridge and wait till our tacos are ready. I have a twice baked potato here I'm going to use for my potato tacos. I'm just going to slice in about 1/4 inch slices, and then we're going to pan fry that in some olive oil. Just pulled the pulled pork out of the oven. I like to add Cattleman's barbecue sauce to it. Feel free to add your own favorite barbecue sauce or whatever you use for pulled pork. I was a little nervous about how I was going to do the potatoes on the first run. I was thinking, do I use butter? Should I use coconut oil, which are my go-tos? And I heard a voice in my head say, go for olive oil. So I believe that was my grandma Meeker, who sometimes likes to join me when I'm cooking from beyond. So we're going to do that again because it turned out really well. You want to make sure that your pan is getting some heat. And then when you add the olive oil, you want to make sure it's not smoking. If it's smoking, it's too hot. But you want the potatoes to sizzle when you're putting them on. So I'm going to add a generous amount of oil here. I don't know if you can, that's come across on the video, but you can see how the oil is starting to thin as soon as it hits the pan. We're going to give that a minute to warm up, and then we're going to start frying our potatoes. So we got just a little bit of bubbling coming up, so we know it's hot enough. We're going to cook it for maybe 6 minutes aside, just until they're crispy. We're going to start flipping them over, get them crispy on both sides. You have some leeway here depending on how crispy you like your griddled potatoes. And I've got a little spatula for flipping my little potatoes here. These don't have to be pretty. You notice I'm throwing on the chunks here that are falling apart. It's all going on the taco where you're not going to see it anyway. all the pieces can be used. And that's one full potato that's been twice baked. So right about 6 minutes I started flipping these, and you can see we're getting some crispiness on it. They're not going to stay together. None of that matters. It doesn't have to be pretty. We're just trying to get some crunchy in there. So the potato's been thoroughly cooked already, and all this is going to taste just amazing when we put them on the tacos. Okay, now we're going to put it all together. So I've switched to another pan. I've got it on a medium heat. I've heated it up and I'm adding butter to it. I use Kerrygold's Irish butter. Tastes fantastic. It's good for you. Comes from grass-fed cows that aren't treated with antibiotics and none of that nonsense. So we're going to put a flour tortilla. I prefer a flatter tortilla rather than the puffy white ones. We're going to let that bubble up a little bit. We're going to flip it over, add some cheese to it. This is a 4 cheese Mexican blend. I prefer the thick shredded cheese. Just going to spread that around a little bit and let it melt on the tortilla right on the skillet. And we're going to let this cook till the shell's a little bit crispy. Get some brown on it. We're not quite there yet. I don't know if you can see that, but we're just getting some brown on there. That's perfect. The cheese will continue to melt. We're going to go ahead and put some potatoes on it while it's still on the skillet. You don't need a lot. You need it piled up there. You're going to get all the flavor in each bite. And then we're going to add some pork to it. And again, you don't need to overload it with meat. All these flavors combined are just going to be fantastic, and it's going to have plenty of stuff in there. Now that we've got on the plate, we're going to go ahead and put the finishing touches on, which is just a little bit of coleslaw. And you can add guacamole, you can add sour cream, but I recommend you try it with just like this, your first one, and then season the next one to taste. I like a lot of coleslaw on mine. Thanks for joining me.